So I've been kind of thinking about this video for quite a bit, and the topic is franchises dying. And I don't want to single out March to October and Road to the Show to kind of like not really include them, because obviously I feel like they're kind of jumbled, or they're kind of grouped in with this whole offline game mode situation, right? So we're gonna focus on franchise for the most part. We'll talk about the other ones as well, but the main topic is franchises dying. And it's a bit of a problem, especially, obviously I'm going to say that as a content creator, but I know a lot of people do still play these offline modes. So I'm going to try to stick on topic. I'm not going to try to go on too many tangents. I really am not. I don't really want this to become a wish list video or, features I think should be added. That's for a different video for another time. But I hope you guys do enjoy this video. If you do, hit that thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. The more thumbs up, obviously it gets recommended to more people. The more people that see this, we're going to get the word spread out. On top of that, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions on franchise. If you guys want to leave your wants and your wishes for upcoming franchise, go ahead and do that too. I'll definitely be going through every single comment. I'll be responding to some of you guys. And if you did enjoy the video, consider hitting that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. So I've been kind of thinking about this for quite some time, because I go through, the franchise section or rebuild section on YouTube. I look through, see who's creating content, see if people still are creating content. Are the views looking good? Are the views looking bad? I do it to compare it to what I'm doing, but also I just want to see how franchise is doing as, just the interest in franchise as a whole. And I've been thinking about this for a while, since the whole like Madden uproar situation that they had with their community when, from Madden 20 to Madden 21, there was literally no changes for their franchise mode. So I've been thinking about this for quite some time. Obviously I've had my concerns and my doubts about franchise for MLB The Show, and they've really started to, my concerns and my doubts have been kind of getting a little bit, it's just gotten worse. I'm looking at it, viewership for content creators is down. Videos are getting less views. On top of that, content creators are uploading less, and I have a feeling it's just because there's less interest in franchise mode. It's not fun to create content on. It gets boring, and on top of that, people just aren't watching it as much. And there's probably a couple things to it. With Diamond Dynasty, that's the main competitor within MLB The Show, but obviously they get new updates every week. Sometimes they get more than one update a week with new content, new cards, new events, things like that. And, obviously that's kind of hard to do on an offline mode where you can't necessarily just pump out new content weekly with stuff like that. On top of the fact that online modes get new content, offline modes just aren't getting new features or improvements on new installments of games. Madden, that's a big example. They got no improvements from 20 to 21. And if you look at the last two installments of MLB The Show, the big selling points from from MLB 19 was real life contracts and new cutscenes and like graphics or presentation. Yeah, cutscenes and presentation. Those were the selling points for franchise last year. And this year, you look at it, was minor league rosters, which I thought was a big addition. I thought that was a really cool feature to add to franchise, right? You don't have to worry about trying to import a roster that was already in the game. And the other one was rebranding / relocation, which I felt like it was a good idea. It's just the execution wasn't it just wasn't done correctly. And we'll talk about that in a sec. So the big thing with Madden this year was kind of like an eye-opener for me, because I'm looking at it and I'm seeing that MLB The Show's franchise mode has been kind of like, it's like one step forward, two steps back type situation. March to October, I think it's a cool game mode. Like the concept is really cool. It's a sleek, faster version of franchise. They've added some more in-depth features to it. Road to the Show, kind of the same thing. You get that whole player career type situation. They've added some in-depth things. They've added some more features to it, and I feel like Road to the Show is definitely headed in the right direction. But then you got franchise, which I feel like you've got March to October. They're starting to add new features. They're trying to make it as best as possible. And then they got franchise in the back where they're like, what if we just kind of like change this a little bit and hope that it's good enough, right? And I feel like it's being put on the back burner. And that's worrisome. Obviously, I'm a content creator, but even as a person who plays franchise not to create videos and just for fun, it's just been kind of a bland and kind of a boring experience the last couple of years. So first, let's talk about these new features that they added this year. The minor league rosters was great. I thought that was a great implementation to franchise. I thought it was really cool. You know, you get the minor league rosters. It adds to that in-depth feel. Great addition. Relocation / rebranding. It's a great idea in theory. Like, you know, you get to redesign the uniforms, you know, the logos if you want. But then, like, you can't really change stadiums. So say I want to move Chicago Cubs to Iowa. There's no stadiums in Iowa. I'm not going to use Wrigley Field because the whole point of relocation is to relocate. And the only other stadiums that are available are the retro stadiums or the generic minor league stadiums. There's really no atmosphere in the minor league stadiums, and the retro stadiums still have all the old teams, you know, logos and banners in the outfield. So I go to old Atlanta, I still got the tomahawk in center field. I got the Braves banners in the outfield. That doesn't give me the whole experience that I just moved the Chicago Cubs to the Iowa Cubs or whatever it is, because I still see all the Braves stuff in the background. That's something that's like, come on, just make the whole atmosphere that new team that I just rebranded to, rather than some team that hasn't been there in years. So I felt like it was kind of like a 50% effort in rebranding / relocation. I hope they do expand on it in the future, but like I said, I don't want to make this a wish list thing. So now I'm looking at it and I'm going, well, franchise can't really get new content added every week like Diamond Dynasty. Obviously, there's the roster updates. You know, there's, you know, new players added from time to time because of players' rights and things like that. You know, there was like Yoshi Tsutsugo, Akiyama, players like that. They got added later on in the year. But what about the small thing of like, oh, hey, we had a 60-game season this year? Well, I remember in previous installments of MLB The Show, there used to be an option where we could have different length seasons. Now that's gone. Why is that gone? It would have been really cool to be able to have a season. Say I started a franchise and I only had a 60-game season for season 1, but then when I started season 2, I had the option to put it back to a 162-game season, right? I feel like that's something that would have been really cool to have back into the game. Or even if I just wanted to create a 60-game season for one season, that would have been really cool just to see how it played out. So I just feel like that was a small thing that was already in the game. Why take it out? Why couldn't we have different length seasons? So it's like they're removing things from the game. They're not necessarily adding things to the game that are really making the experience much better. There have been a couple great additions. Like I said, the rosters were great. I think the rebranding thing was really cool. I just feel like the execution wasn't fully there. And then now I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, you've got another, this is kind of like the biggest thing for me in terms of franchise dying. You have a lot of good features in the game itself, like the game mode itself, you know, the CPU management, the scouting, you know, the trade systems, you know, you have everything to make it the training. You have a lot in this game mode to make it a really good in-depth experience. But a lot of those features that are already in the game mode don't work. And that it pushes me away from the game mode so much. Trade logic doesn't exist. CPU management logic doesn't exist. I got the Blue Jays signing 10 first basemen, all rated 84 and above. We don't need that. You know, I don't need them spending their whole budget on Freddie Freeman, Josh Bell, Matt Olson, etc. when they still need pitching, center field, left field, whatever it is. And then on top of that, every team trades away their top prospect. You've got 27 trades a day. The CPU, the big one. Obviously, I'm done talking about CPU management, AI management for other teams. How about the fact that the team that I'm controlling, the CPU takes over at times and changes my lineup, my pitching rotation. They're calling up players. They're sending down players. No, I have everything set to manual for lineups, pitching rotation, roster, but yet I'm getting players sent up and down from the CPU. They're intervening in my lineups when I don't tell them to. And The whole experience of me controlling my team is being taken out of my hands because there's a bug in the game and they haven't fixed it yet. And this has been going on for 2 years. It might even be 3 at this point. So again, there's so many good features already in the game, but people are being kind of pushed away from it because they don't work or they're just not good. And so it's really saddening and it's really disappointing to see that they have really good game modes. I think March to October could be a really good game mode. I think it's a new one. It's a newer mode, so I know they're trying to improve it. They're trying to make it better, and I think they're doing it pretty well. It's like, what, this is the 2nd year of it, and I think they're making it really good. I enjoy March to October. I think it's a really cool mode, but they're still gonna try to improve it. Road to the Show, I think they're making small steps and they're improving it. But then you got franchise, and this is kind of the big thing where I'm just like, they're not doing much, and it's really becoming obvious, and it's really hurting the game mode, it's really hurting the community, and it's really hurting your content creators who are really trying to push this mode and really trying to kind of build the community in MLB The Show. So again, drop your comments below. I'm gonna end it there. I just kind of wanted to get my point across. Like, I don't want it to become a situation like Madden where there are no changes to franchise mode and then you have a community at SDS's throat when SDS does a great job with MLB The Show. But as a community, we're going to start to expect bigger and better things with the game going to next gen, with the game going to multi-platform, multi-console, Xbox, possibly PC, Switch, whatever it is. We're going to expect more. We're going to expect better things, and we want SDS to provide those things. So obviously, I don't want that whole Madden situation. I don't want the community to go up in flames because of it, but we are going to hold them to a higher standard because we want those things. We want the game to be fun. We want them to, we want franchise to work. We want Diamond Dynasty to be fun, March to October, so on and so forth. So if you do enjoy it, hit that thumbs up down below. I hope you did enjoy it. Leave your comments down below. I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions, your inputs. I'm going to go through the comments. I'm going to respond to you guys. And that's really about it, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.